Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. The 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think you may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida, with your host and hostess, Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. Show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard.
Well, good evening, and welcome to Transition Radio, live
from Wilton Manors, the San Francisco, Florida.
Okay. Well, tonight we have Jessica Annette Sims, a transgender woman who's confident in her life and journey. But before we bring her on, we want to thank our sponsor,
TheBreastFormStore.com. They have everything you need for your cross-dressing and transgender needs. Visit their website and tell them Transition Radio.
31 years is a long time for anybody to actually hide who they are. But that's how long it took me. I say 31 years because I really didn't know anything was different gender-wise until I was 10 or 11 years old. During the 1980s, I was raised up by my adopted family, 6 sisters and 5 brothers. That's right, there was 12 of us, but only 2 were actually homemade. The rest of us were adopted.
Growing up with a family that big, I just kept my secrets to myself, afraid of saying anything that would give me away. Growing up in the 80s, we didn't have the technology we have today. We couldn't research our feelings on Facebook or Google. And any kind of research I did find was about porn stars and females. I knew I wasn't either of those, but I knew I wasn't in the right body. I got hooked up on drugs at one point so bad that I ended up homeless in Boise, Idaho, living under bridges in the middle of winter.
I was doomed. I knew I wasn't a typical macho male. I knew I wasn't gay or drooling over other men. I know because I tried. I tried to live my life happy and positive for a very long time. But throughout the 90s, I would only find myself even more frustrated because I couldn't be me. I couldn't be a princess. I couldn't be a cheerleader or a ballerina. Today, I've been on HRT for over a year and a half. My name has legally been changed to the state of Texas to reflect Jessica Annette.
I live and work as a truck driver in the oil field, and then nobody at work knows that I am trans. I still feel good about myself because I am finally living my dream, and the best part is that I actually did manage to tell my brothers and sisters after all. It was my therapist who told me that I needed to bring all my walls of protection down, that I needed to tell my family. My therapist reminded me that if I tore down my walls and my family did not like it, then they had the option to put that wall back up.
But even if they did put the wall back up, they would at least check around the corner of the wall and check in on me from time to time.
Now let's welcome to our show the lovely Jessica Annette.
Hello.
Hey, Jack.
How are you both doing? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on our show. We're doing great, thank you. So you're having a little power outage where you're at.
I'm sorry, there was bleed over?
I said you were having a little power outage where you're at.
Yes.
Bad weather.
It was bleeded over on my phone. But yes, no, we just had power outage, just got it back on about a half hour ago. So I have air conditioning And we are ready to do a show. It is good. It's good to be here.
Thank you for being here. We're glad you're able to join us. Well, let me ask you, growing up in such a large family, did you ever feel left out or even alone, even though you were surrounded by so many siblings?
Well, growing up in such a large family, I mean, there was really no time to feel alone. Nobody would let me feel alone, and that was a good thing. I mean, I at the same time I had to hide who I was, or I felt I did. I probably didn't, but I felt I did, and so I was sort of kind of secluded. I was a computer geek. I was, I stayed to myself, but I wasn't really alone. The family, no. I grew up in such a good family, they wouldn't let me.
I hear you. Did you ever feel left out? Like so many kids, Christmas, I mean, that must have been very hard on your parents. 12 kids. That's a kid for every month.
Yes, it was quite a bit. It was, I can only imagine. I mean, I didn't have, holidays was a good time. I mean, obviously I was jealous a couple times of what my sisters would get or something like that. But, it's all good. Like I said, growing up with such a big family, it really, it just kept my mind so occupied even when I was, alone. I just had everything, sort of put together. So.
You guys definitely beat the Brady Bunch, that's for sure.
Hey, that was one of my favorite shows.
Mine too. I used to love the Brady Bunch. Yeah. Why did you wait so long to correct what you felt was wrong?
Well, the biggest reason had to be that, I hate to admit it, but I really wasn't smart enough or even possessed, the proper courage, I would say, at that age to, I just didn't have that. It takes a lot of courage to transition. I mean, didn't have the internet, we didn't have stuff like that, so I wasn't able to research, and I couldn't relate to anybody. And I think those were my biggest issues and why I waited so long. And then I got hooked up into the drugs and everything else. So, yeah. It's all good now, though.
I imagine, yeah. But since technology wasn't available during that time, how and when did you learn about gender dysphoria, and what was your first reaction when you did?
Well, I didn't really actually learn or fully begin to research, these symptoms, this whatever you want to call it, until about 5 years ago. And, this is, when I knew things were not going to change. I mean, all my clothes buying, throwing them away. I mean, I'm sure a lot of trans do this. They go buy some clothes, they go throw it away in denial, and then they go buy more, and it just keeps on coming back. And once I knew it kept on coming back, that's when I knew I had to do some sort of research. I mean, there was no amount of drugs, no amount of beer that can hide it. And I just began to do the research. And when I found people and I was able to relate to them, like the Grishnos, Lady Vixens, a bunch of ladies. And I started saying, hey, this is possible. So I just overwhelmed with myself today.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you're saying about buying the clothes and getting rid of them and out of denial and everything. That's that's one of the main stages we go through, and we go through most of the time, several times, which is called purging. And, I know I did it quite a few times throughout my life. I had built up such a wardrobe of all these clothes and everything like that, and then I was like, okay, this isn't me. I'm not, I'm not that way. And boom, out in the trash they went. And then I'm like, damn it, why did I do that?
Yeah, it's sort of like buyer's remorse, but it was throwing away remorse, not buyer's remorse, but throwing away remorse, because you can never find that same outfit again.
I think a lot of it is the lack of support and lack of other individuals like us. So back then, you really had nobody to relate to. But now, thank God, there's definitely a lot more people out there and a lot more resources to find information.
Exactly. Although I do still have a couple addresses from like the mid '80s that I did keep and hang on to that I never got rid of.
And you still fit into them? I'm jealous.
Yes.
You still fit into them? I'm jealous.
Well, Jessica's kind of very slim. Well, Jessica, Annette, we need to make a quick announcement for our local listeners, and we'll get right back to you.
Teen House. We'll be announcing their new Transgender Welcome Resource Center opening very soon in Welcome Manors.
The Community Collaborate Transgender Educational Series, a collaborative efforts of Teen House, Broward County Department of Health, Pride Center, and SunServe invites you to the Teen Mixer presented by SunServe. Enjoy great music, food, drinks, and most importantly, party with your trans community.
The event will be held Tuesday, May 28th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Pride Center located at 2040 North Dixie Highway, Wilton Manors, Florida. Please RSVP to 954-764-5150, extension 104, or by email at Terrieagus, TARIEAGUS, @sunserve.org. And come and join us out there. We'll be there as well.
Yes, definitely. Well, back to you, Jessica. Annette?
Yes. And
yes.
On to the next question. It seems that many of the members of the LGBT community become involved in destructive behaviors. Why do you think that is, and what led you to those extremes?
Well, you know, we all have different reasons for being happy and for being depressed. For me, the depression was caused by a lack of self-confidence in itself. You know, instead of taking control of my life or taking control of my symptoms, I would consume a 30-pack of beer in 2 days, or, you know, I'd go do a line of Coke or whatever. I'd do some drugs, which I'm glad I do not do anymore. But, you know, I don't know. It was just my way at the time to hide, hide from dealing with what I was dealing with, thinking there was a way out, to hide who I truly was, even from myself. And I think a lot of the community does that. And you know, it's a shame. We just got to learn by experience, really, and just get out there and live. So,
it's a way of numbing
that's a tough question.
It's a way of numbing ourselves, you know, and not just the trans community or the LGBT community, but I think society in general use substances, whether it's food, drugs, alcohol, to numb themselves so they don't feel the pain.
Yeah, from marriage.
Yeah, that's it. Marriage.
That's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, drinking a lot and and it's something that we need to learn how to self-love instead of numbing ourselves, is growing within ourselves and just loving ourselves tremendously. That's what's going to help heal us and help over time. So, can you explain to the listeners the difference between gender identity disorder and sexual preference, since you clearly stated on your bio that you're not attracted to men?
Well, you know, first I should correct myself and say that, you know, I am sort of bi. I am bi. I'm just leaning more towards the lesbian side. And, you know, the reason why I say it is because, I mean, if it wasn't for the other Jessica and there was another handsome stud like you, Mark, just floating around and Jessica wasn't in the way, I'd be all over that. So, but you know, the sexual preference has nothing to do with how I feel. I mean, my brain, my thoughts, you know, they feel right as a female. So that's what's different about the identity and the sexual preference. You know, my courage goes up when I feel like a female. When I am a female, I just feel more comfortable being me. And that's important. It really is to make that difference between the two. Because identity is just what you're comfortable. I mean, I guess they're both what you're comfortable with, but there is a difference between the two, and it's a shame the public, you know, the overall public doesn't, you know, grasp the difference between the two, and you know, one day they will, you know.
Yeah, and it's such a misunderstanding regarding this whole issue. They just think both the same thing, and they don't realize transgender people come in all shapes, colors, sexual preference. Bi, pansexual, straight. What's between our ears, it's what's hasn't aligned what's down below our belt. And who we're attracted to is totally different to how we identify. And that's something that I like to constantly pound on people so people can understand this, that it's not some sort of condition.
And that's when we first transitioned, and I hate to interrupt, but when I first transitioned, a lot of people were like, you know what, you're just a guy in a dress that is a fag, a gay that likes other guys. You just like to wear, and it's like, no. I mean, obviously, when we go through our phases at the very beginning, I had to question myself, well, maybe they're right, maybe they're not. I don't know, but I got to try it. And I think for me, it all comes down, and it's different for everybody, but if I'm not happy with my own junk downstairs, I'm not going to sit there and go after another guy's junk. So that's why it's different for me, where I'm more towards the lesbian side. I'm just more comfortable that way. So there is a difference.
Absolutely. Well, your walls were up, as many of the walls of those that feel not worthy due to the ridicule we experience when we try to be ourselves. Do you feel that it is more harmful to have these walls up than to be open and free?
You know what? Yeah, I mean, I do my YouTube videos, my logs, and I tell all my YouTube subscribers that, they got to be true. They got to be themselves. There's no other way around it. If you're going to succeed, you've got to be true and you've got to be yourself. Obviously, if you're going to have the walls up, that ain't going to happen. So, yes, I feel that would hurt. I mean, it makes it more difficult to accomplish those two things if you're going to continue to have those walls up. Now, there are some walls that, will always remain up or come partially down. I mean, there's different levels. It's not just like a switch. I mean, and maybe that will help some people. You can sort of gradually, bring the walls down. You don't have to just slam the wall down. So, but yes.
Right. Well, see, like with me, I know that feeling. I had the walls up for many, many years, and then I was like, you know what? Forget it. These are coming down. So I called in the wrecking ball crew and tore them things down to the ground. And it was time to just totally be free. And when I realized basically what I was doing was the walls that I were putting up, I was basically isolating myself from the rest of the world.
And you hurt yourself when you do that, because you become this secluded individual and not allowing love in your heart. And we're all about love. I mean, that's what spirits come here on this planet to learn how to do, and it's to learn how to love unconditionally. So we have to be willing to be hurt. We have to be willing to hear words that are going to affect us. But in the long run, we're going to help others grow as well as create our own growth.
Exactly.
And it's extremely important. Plus, we have to realize that our family members aren't always going to be as accepting at first. Are your siblings accepting of you now, Jessica?
They are. There's, I got some brothers and sisters. They are accepting. I mean, they know from my own experience and from their own experience how much happier I am now. They see me when I was drinking. They saw, when I was just putting the walls up and I was shutting everybody out. I was even shutting myself out. My walls were up so thick. So, yeah, I mean, some are still a little back offish. It's a scary thing when you deal with the family and you notify the family. But I'm very blessed that I have a very good family, very supported brothers and sisters. I talk, with my birth parents, even though I'm adopted, and it's just, I'm blessed and I'm thankful.
Talk to us a little bit about your work. You said that they don't know you're transgender. When you started working there, were you already transitioned?
Yes. Well, no. Yes and no. I was about 11 months HRT when I moved to New Mexico. I just blindly moved, which is scary in itself. I was unemployed. A year ago, I was unemployed, gathering unemployment checks after I did an appeal case. And then finally, my unemployment was getting ready to run out. I had to move somewhere. And with 5 years of oil field experience as a truck driver, I drive big truck. I looked at the Google Maps and said, you know what, the New Mexico, West Texas is the place that I need to go because of the oil field. So I just sort of moved blindly out here, and it's scary, and My name was already legally changed, and then I found out New Mexico actually has a good law for transgender folk to where I got the female marker on my driver's license. So that was really good, just by a psychiatrist letter, and the state of New Mexico went ahead and put female marker on it. So, the pre-employment, they still do the background checks. They still got to know. I ain't hiding from nobody, but somebody hired me. So it is possible to get a job out there. Don't give up on it. So.
Well, definitely. I lived in New Mexico for a while, and it is a pretty friendly state towards trans individuals. I didn't really have any problems with it there. Can you tell us, can you let us feel through your words the amazing feeling you felt now that you're able to be you?
I really can't. Everything is going so good, and I am blessed and I'm thankful. I really can't describe what I'm feeling right now, because a year ago, just like I said, moving blindly, if I would have known how I was going to feel today, and now I got my surgery already planned in Thailand for February of next year, 2014. So things are just going so dang good for me right now. It's really hard to describe. It's been a long battle. It's still going to continue to be a long battle. It's not over. Transitioning itself is not going to end, especially after surgery. It's still going to continue after surgery. So it's going to be there the rest of my life. And just right now, I'm just so blessed and thankful. At the same time, I just really can't put those words into descriptive terms.
So try to explain this. One of the things that we read about your bio, that you wanted to be a ballerina, you wanted to feel like a girl. Did you imagine that all these years?
I'm sure. Well, see, when I first started transition, when I first realized what was going on inside my mind, and I'm sure a lot of other girls felt this way, and I felt like this for the longest time when I was going back and forth. And it's if I can't be as beautiful as a Miss America pageant, if I can't have the nice short little 5'4", nice skinny fingernails, I just look all glamorous, then I don't even want to bother. I'm just, no, that's it. I give it. And that's when I went to the drinking and the drug, and that was the wrong way. And my dreams were always to be a ballerina, to be a cheerleader. Now I wish I had the courage, being younger. Because now I'm 42 years old. I'm going to be 43 tomorrow, so I'm getting older. But
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. It's just been a really blessed dream so far that's been coming true. And I admire a lot of the younger generation now, because they do show a lot more courage than what I ever would have had at that age. So we are our hardest critics. My tongue's getting all tied up. But whenever we judge our own selves, we are our hardest critics. And that's one of the things I was dealing with, early on when I was going back and forth. So.
And, I couldn't agree with you more about the whole, that's the whole thing that kept me, I think, from transitioning, was the fact that every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be this gorgeous Barbie doll girl that I want to be, and that I know that I am, but I'm not going to ever get there. So it kind of threw me back and threw me 10 steps back every time I wanted to move 2 steps forward. And then as I transitioned, and I was just like, screw this, I know where I need to be, and I started moving forward, and I realized that I changed my whole quality of life just by being myself. I could give 2 craps less about the glamour, about the this and the that, and it was all about the evolution of me learning to love myself for who I am and be myself.
And that's one of the biggest mistakes I believe transgender individuals make. We want to end up being this perfect being, and it's like we realize that women come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, and looks, as do men. We can only be the best me that you can be, and forget about all the glamour and glitz. It's not about that. It's about the feeling you feel inside.
Absolutely.
Well, Jessica, we want to thank you so much for being on the show. Did you want to add anything else?
Just what I said earlier to all the listeners. I mean, it transitioning ain't easy. It is not easy. But I mean, if you're gonna do it, never give up. You just got to be true. You got to be yourself. There is no other way. If you want to succeed, you got to do those two things. You got to be true. You got to be yourself. You got to be true to yourself. I mean, all the above. Those two things. And it's not going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it.
Exactly. It's your journey. It's your life. We are holding that paintbrush, and we're creating our life and our story, and it's a beautiful thing. We need to enjoy it instead of dreading it, instead of having all this self-hatred and stuff. It's about loving self and creating the best you can create.
Exactly, and I said it in my blog at the end of my most recent entry. I said, do not ever give up on your dreams. Giving up on your dreams means you are merely giving up on yourself.
And that is very true. Yeah. Well, Jessica, thank you so much. We've enjoyed this time with you. And
thank you.
Good luck on your surgery. That's next year. And you said, I think it's 200-something days in counting. And have a great birthday tomorrow. Enjoy yourself. Have lots and lots of fun. And have a drink on us tomorrow.
Absolutely. Happy early birthday.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night, Anna.
Well, we want to talk about a situation that's happened between two women, or actually young ladies that are in school. One's 15 years old, and the other one just turned 18, Andrea and Jeremy. A Florida high school student could go to prison for years, all because her girlfriend's parents were furious that she was dating their 15-year-old daughter. As soon as Kate Hunt turned 18, the angry parents reported her to the police. Against her girlfriend's wishes, she was arrested for assaulting a minor.
But this isn't about a crime. It's about a high school romance between two teen girls and the angry homophobic parents who want to destroy a young woman's life. Florida Assistant State Attorney Brian Wortman has offered Kate a terrible choice. Accept a deal that could brand her a criminal for life or face a trial and possible jail.
She must decide by today, Friday. But if thousands of us speak out now, the pressure will grow on the state attorney to drop the charges completely. We signed the petition. I urge you to sign. Visit www.allout, that's ALLOUT.org/Kate, K-A-T-E. Go there, sign the petition. This is ridiculous.
And that's actually /.
Okay, /K. Whatever. Anyway,
I figured I would just...
yeah, okay. Thank you very much for that little bit of information. But anyway, we need humanity. I just don't understand it. It's why would anyone want to hurt someone's daughter like that? Especially if they have been together for the longest time. They waited till the moment the girl turned 18 to do this. I mean, that's low. That's scum. That's totally wrong.
People, I don't get it. I mean, if it was a boy and a girl, it probably wouldn't have been as much of a girl as it was this big.
Yeah, exactly. It's homophobe parents. Anyway, guys, remember to visit the events this May 28th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Pride Center located at 2040 North Dixie Highway, Wilton Manors, Florida. RSVP at 954-764-5150, extension 104, or email TARIEAGUS@sunserve.org. We'll be there. If you want to meet us, greet, you will be part of this beautiful event. Let's make it a big turnout. And guys, thank you so much for the support. We won't have a show this Sunday, as you know, our new Thursday time, 9 p.m., starting June 6th, will be our TV shows, and we will stay with the radio show till the end of June on Fridays, but we'll resume the new time July 2nd, I think it is, which is a Tuesday, same time, 6:30. So radio show 6:30 on Tuesday, TV show Thursday at 9 p.m.
It's going to be the 3 T.
Yes.
Transgender Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's right, folks. So we thank everybody. Thank you, Jessica and Annette Sims, for joining us tonight. Thank you, everybody. We love you. But remember to always love yourself, too. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Party hardy, but be safe. Good night. And here we end our lovely song, Two Steps.